I don't usually bring my work home and share it, but I've just spent the past 2 days off work and attending to my meeting duties as an elected member of the Otago Regional Council. For a long, long time, I've opined that local government in New Zealand is run by and for the bureaucrats, that elected governors play increasingly lesser roles in decision making, and that they're effectively sidelined by senior local government managers in a variety of ways, and we've gone through those ways in the past. It's the reason that people don't vote in local elections. It's nothing to do with the voting process, it's to do with the fact that the public have lost faith, and they don't make submissions to annual plans and the like, because the public well understand that their input and their elected representatives make bugger all difference to the local government machine. But on Wednesday past, just 2 days ago, that belief or prejudice within me received some pretty dramatic confirmation around my council table. And I'd like to share that with you. To cut a long story short, the Otago Regional Council want to establish a $2 million per annum fund, $2 million of ratepayers' money, to finance worthy community environment projects, big ones. Now, they already spend about $1 million a year on small ones, and they don't have any specific projects in mind, but $2 million a year is to be rated against everyone who lives in the Otago region, irrespective. I will just go and get some money. You don't need that money. You're not going through a cost of living crisis. No, we'll just go and build a fund that we're not actually going to spend any money on, but we'll just go and get it anyhow. That's the reason and the rationale. Now, the Otago Regional Council staff, that's their senior staff, they wrote a paper for governance approval this week, setting out the criteria for eligibility to that $2 million a year, right? So it's $2 million a year in perpetuity. It's not just going into the plan 1 year. It's going to keep on going. So it'll be 10 million over 5 years. It'll be 20 million over 10, or probably more than that once inflation's taken into command. All right. Anyhow, the ORC senior staff set out the eligibility to get to this money. And the very first, number one, numero uno, A, on the list was what I'm just about to read to you now. Quote, alignment to the intergenerational aspirations of mana whenua with a demonstrated level of support obtained for the funding initiative from mana whenua. Now, the mana whenua down here are about three, I think, local Maori communities. I guess it'd be subset hapu, maybe, of Ngaitahu, which is the wider iwi representative in the South Island. And these runaka, as they're known, or runanga, as we would know them in the North Island, are represented by a commercial entity that they've established called Okaha. So you do all your dealings with these runaka, with these hapu, through their commercial entity, Okaha, all right, which they've set up. Don't go and talk to the committees, go and talk to Okaha, and they'll charge you for it. Now, when I questioned the Otago Regional Council Chief Executive on Wednesday as to the meaning of alignment, in fact, I had to drag out my Oxford English Dictionary just to explain it to him, and what a demonstrated level of support meant, I was informed that the eligibility criteria quoted above is actually a core priority for the Council. Not just the $2 million per annum Environment Fund, but the Otago Regional Council in general. Now, as you can imagine, I went ape. Hopefully I went intellectually ape. Hopefully I went logically ape. But I went ape nonetheless. I charged that we were taking $2 million a year from hard-pressed regional ratepayers and then saying to a tiny fraction of the indigenous population of Otago that their preferences and values were not just critical. Oh, no, no, no. They were the only preferences and values that counted in allocating that money, which is, of course, racism. It's the racial preference of one group over all other by dint of their ethnicity. To make matters worse, if a really great environmental project came up for the entire Otago region, right, and the wider community, and it didn't align with mana, whenua values, whatever they are, not precisely defined, not defined at all, but if they didn't align with them, then that project would get no funding at all, which is extraordinary and, of course, obviously grossly wrong. But staff dogma, this is staff dogma. This is their views, staff dogma, masquerading as staff recommendations and promoting their bizarre, and that's the only word, representation of what partnership means. Listen, they're in charge. With local representatives is what apparently Otago Regional Council senior staff and policy staff do. In the end, I was actually surprised that a majority of the councillors sitting around the table with me actually felt a similar discomfort. And we've got a left-green majority around our council table, so, you know, if they're starting to feel some discomfort, then there's discomfort. But the item was then removed from public discussion. It's going to be wordsmithed. All right, we all know what that means, but it will return. And bureaucracy, like rust, never sleeps. Those are my thoughts this morning. What are yours?